Welcome to Veteran Perspective. This is Jeff, your host, creator, writer, podcaster. And today we will be starting a 4-part series on AI in education. Part 1 is titled, The Resistance to AI is a Dereliction of Duty. Why Fear is Failing the Future. Let's get started. If you walk in to a typical faculty meeting right now and say the words AI or artificial intelligence, the room will get cold and maybe angry, but you will be able to smell the fear. It's been like this for probably a few years now. Okay. I left education a couple years ago, but I'm still part of those circles. AI, they view AI, not everyone, because that would be a generalization, but the vast majority of leaders in education view AI as the enemy. Okay? It isn't always an explicit ban on AI because they know they can't do that, right? They can't ban what students use for homework or research when they're not in the walls of the institution, right? They can when they're in the walls of the institution, right? They have their own internal firewalls and ways to block certain sites and stuff like that, okay? But it's a very heavy resistance. The problem with this resistance is AI is the most powerful tool that the internet has. And AI is the future of the job market. It might not even be the future of the job market. It's probably the right now. And if schools, especially high schools, intend their mission statements, which all of them have mission statements, right? Every district has a mission statement to prepare students for the future. Resisting AI, they are directly violating their own mission statement and doing a disservice to kids, especially high schools. Now, I know what some of you are going to say, but they'll just use AI to cheat. That's because you refuse to teach them how to use AI correctly or how to use AI in an educational way. You, the adult in the room, are resisting. And this happens in education all the time. It happened when calculators became a thing. It happened when cell phones became a thing. Right? Remember when teachers used to say, well, you'll never have a calculator on you all the time, so you've got to learn how to do your math without a calculator. Well, then we all of a sudden had calculators with us all the time. What was their excuse then? For whatever reason, education likes to make excuses to deny the use of modern technology to students and then expect those same students to enter the modern world with the tools to be successful. This is not a student problem. This is an education problem, an educational leadership problem, and that includes teachers. Teachers, you are part of educational leadership. You always have been. You lead your classroom. For my department chairs, you lead your department. It's very simple. Teachers and administrators look at ChatGPT because for some reason schools think ChatGPT is the only thing that AI is and see a plagiarism machine. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That is a legitimate fear. Okay? They see a tool that will destroy critical thinking and make grading impossible. Critical thinking went out the window a long time ago with all of this BS curriculum that took the soul out of schools. So they resist it. They stick to the old ways, right? We still run our schools like it's 1835 and then expect kids to go in to the real world in 2026 and be successful and then wonder why they're not. They treat it like a cell phone in 2025 they treat it like a cell phone in 2005 classroom, something to be managed, hidden, or ignored. That's what schools do with AI. This is a tactical failure of education. I say this as a veteran and a teacher who spent 12 years in the classroom. Okay, I use AI for a lot of things that I do, right? I run a history channel. Okay, I am not an artist. Okay, I write my own scripts. I do my own voiceover, but I use AI to do the artwork. This background that you see, for my webcam, I used AI to create it. I made the prompt. I was like, hey, I want this and this. I think this would look nice. And then I refined it based off of what the image generator gave me. And I've gotten compliments on my videos. Hey, now this isn't AI slop, right? Because I do it on YouTube. Okay, this is a use of AI for education. Okay, so think about it that way. When you resist a tool that the entire real world is adopting, you aren't protecting students. You're not. Teachers, leadership, parents even. You're not protecting students. You're disarming them. You're sending them out into the digital battlefield with analog weapons. For those of you that don't know what the word analog means. The calculator panic redux. Again, back to my argument about the calculator. We had this same panic when the calculator became readily available, when it became cheaper. Okay? Math teachers scream they won't know how to do long division. First off, who cares? I'm 44 years old. I have yet to have to do long division in my life on purpose. Stop lying to kids. Guess what? We still teach the concepts, right? Because the concepts and the thinking skills are important. I'm not saying math isn't important. Math is awesome. I love math, okay? But we use tools to solve bigger, more complex problems. Learning how to use the tools is just as important as learning how to solve the problem. It's part of the process. AI is a calculator for ideas. It is a calculator for creativity. Does it take art away? No. Could I have paid someone to make my background? Sure, but I don't have that kind of money. Shit's expensive. I can't afford that because I live within my means. Is there a way for me to pay someone to do the artwork for my thumbnails for all my YouTube videos? Yeah, but I can't afford that. It's not my budget. That's my personal budget. I live within my means. So I use tools like AI to create things. If your assignment can be completed by a chatbot in 5 seconds, the problem might not be the chatbot. The problem might be the assignment. Again, we're living in the educational past. Give me 3 reasons why the North won the Civil War. Come on. Kids have been writing that essay since right after the damn Civil War. We need to be better. And I say that as a former social studies teacher who probably had that same prompt somewhere. We need to stop asking students to rote memorize facts all the time. I'm not saying rote memorization is bad as a whole, because it's not. Okay? Studies show that it's not. But the problem is we're asking students to do that as their education. Rote memorization for, say, a test and that being the whole test, is a problem. Okay, they can Google it in 2 seconds. And some will say, well, you can't Google on tests. You're right. But they could get a study guide, which y'all provide because you want your kids to be successful. And they go home and they Google all of it. And they get all the answers in 2 seconds. Did they learn anything? They learned how to use Google, which is good. But did they learn anything about the core subject? No, because there was no critical thinking. We need to start asking them to synthesize information. All of my teacher friends out there, you guys all have standards, right? Because your leadership makes you write them on the wall for absolutely no reason. Okay? In those standards, I can guarantee you there is the word synthesize or a synonym of the word synthesize, and 90% of you never do it. Or don't even know what it means. That's the problem here. Okay? And AI is the perfect sparring partner to help students synthesize information with educator oversight. But in order to provide educator oversight, the educator needs to buy in to using AI. Yes, teachers and academic leadership, especially leadership, you have to buy in. You have to be a part of the solution, not creating more problems. Case study. Forcing history to speak. Okay? Let me give you a concrete example of how we could use this technology the quote-unquote right way. And there's multiple right way examples. Okay? I run an Etsy shop. Okay? The link will be in the description. Part of my Etsy shop, we have t-shirts, mugs, sweaters, all that jazz. Buy something, okay? But also in that Etsy shop, I create educational materials, okay? I didn't want to make just PDF worksheets. I do have some of that, right? But I didn't want to make something kids would just throw away. I wanted to make something that stuck. So I used AI to take my ideas and put together a U.S. Constitution study guide audio debate. Okay, so here's the concept. Instead of forcing the student or students to read a dry, dense text about the Federalists and Anti-Federalists, which we've all done, I used AI to simulate a debate between Federalists and Anti-Federalists. I fed the AI the actual arguments from history, source material, primary and secondary sources. I use neutral voice generation to create distinct characters, 2 of them. And I produced an audio experience where the student could actually hear the conflict. You could actually check it out. I'll link the blog post that this podcast is about. I'll link it there. The link to the debate thing in my Etsy store, if you want to purchase it, it's right there. And you can use it in your classroom. Once you purchase it, you have the rights to use it in your classroom for my social studies teachers. And then you can take that concept and create your own debates in the future. So suddenly, history, social studies, isn't dead text on a page. And I know a lot of my social studies and history teachers, which is what I used to do, complain all the time about the curriculum they have. Is like, oh my God, they're just scrolling through text and they see a picture every now and again. It's your job to make it come alive. That's why you get paid. Use AI to do that. Show your students how to do it and create a project where they use AI to make their own debate. But why don't they just debate in class? You could do that too. Give them the choice. Pretty sure some of your standards ask for student choice, right? Suddenly, history is a conversation. It's a podcast. It fits the medium that modern students actually consume. Is this cheating? No. It's forced manipulation, right? We're taking what we know and we're creating something different. And I know that's hard for some educators. I used the tool to create a resource that would have taken me weeks to record. Teachers don't have that kind of time. With voice actors, would have had to pay for voice actors to do it or do it myself. Now a student who struggles with reading comprehension but has a high auditory intelligence can access the materials. That's not lowering the bar. That's called building a ramp. We talk about diversifying instruction all the time, but then we just take away things, right? Oh, that student isn't very good at reading, so you'll take away some reading, but you won't add on an auditory, right? That's how we diversify. We diversify by subtraction. This is diversification through addition and manipulating material to help students learn more based off of how they learn. You know, that whole individualized instruction thing they shove down our throats as teachers? There you go. The teacher as the prompt engineer. The role of the teacher is changing, okay? We are already there. We are no longer the gatekeepers of information. Teachers do not hold information and give it away, okay? Information is free because of the internet, because of AI. We need to become the prompt engineers of our own curriculum. Do not fear AI. Teach your students how to query it, how to use it. Teach them how to spot when it's hallucinating or lying, because it does. AI is not always correct. Teach them how to use it to outline a paper, not write the paper. Teach them how to outline the paper and then teach them how to write the soul of the paper themselves. There's a way to use AI, to manipulate the use of AI, and then still have students do actual schoolwork. You're just refusing to do it. In the military, we didn't refuse to use GPS because real soldiers use a map and a compass. That's stupid. The map and the compass were always there as backup if the GPS didn't work. Right? We learned the map and the compass first, then we used the GPS to move faster and hit harder. Use the AI to move faster and hit harder. Don't hit your students, but you know what I mean, right? To hit your educational points harder. So here's my call to action. To my fellow educators and administrators, leadership. Stop acting like Luddites. Stop resisting this. Stop. I see it all the time on my social media. Stop it. You whine and bitch and moan and complain about AI, but then you refuse to learn it? That's ignorant. That's ignorant. You see companies using AI for a variety of different things. Staff management, time management, variety of different things. It could be so many different things depending on the industry. But then you refuse it to your students who are going to be entering that workforce? School counselors, talk to your local businesses in your area and say, hey, how are you guys using AI? What should we be teaching our kids about AI? Pretty sure that's your job. I'm going to get yelled at by counselors in the comments. Go ahead and yell at me, but I stand by that. That's part of your job. Your job, teachers, leadership, is to prepare these kids for the world of 2030, not the world of 1990 when we were kids. That world that they enter will be run by people who know how to collaborate with AI. Why are we sending kids into that world unprepared? If we continue to resist it, we are creating a two-tier system. The kids who learn it at home and get ahead, and the kids who rely on the school and get left behind. So I implore you, embrace the chaos of AI, and it is chaotic. Use the tool. Raise the standard. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you guys like and follow, and I will see you next time. This is a 4-part series. This is part 1, and I will see you next time for part 2. Thank you guys.